Welcome to the Trio Blood Podcast. We are your hosts, Christian Creasy,
Lionel Chapman.
Ira Childs.
and today's episode we are going to talk about four great horror TV episodes, TV series actually, and the opening intro, the great theme music.
Yes.
And one of our first ones we are going to discuss is one of my favorites, horror TV show of all time. It's my personal favorite. Is Tales from the Crypt.
This idiot, y'all. Why is that your favorite?
I like Tales from the Crypt because it's my favorite because I always looked at the lessons that I was learning from each of those episodes. They was real and down to earth. Like you have people who's trying to kill their spouse for insurance or screw people over just to gain in life ahead of life. If you look at one of the episodes in the first season, Beauty is Skin Deep, or Love Came Hacking to Me, or or it's a bunch, or for infidelity, which goes on in real life. Tales from the Crypt is a horror comic brought to you by EC Comics, which is Entertainment Comics. Tales from the Crypt was aired in 1989 till 1996, and 3 or 4 top Hollywood filmmakers who created the series took that. Joel Silver, Rob Zemeckis, who is known for Back to the Future and Forrest Gump, Joel Silver, Predators, Matrix, Lethal Weapon, Walter Hill, and I forgot the last one, but not the only, Richard Donner, who did Goonies and Superman.
Those some heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters, yes. But Tales from the Crypt was a great hit show on HBO. The theme song was created by composer Donald Rubinstein. Yeah, I didn't know that. Donald. Oh, sorry. My bad. I have the wrong one. That was Tales from the Darkside. It was Danny Elfman who created the theme song, the opening and closing of the episode of Tales from the Crypt. Yeah. Danny, sorry. I keep screwing up his Danny, forgive me, Danny.
He just got through looking at Tales from the Crypt.
But Danny Elfman was also well-known composer of Batman by Tim Burton,
Right.
Pee-wee Adventures, Men in Black, and The Simpsons. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he created the theme song for Tales from the Crypt during after the Batman sessions. He was doing in the studio. He said during he said how he first came up. He said during a live interview from People I was watching on YouTube, Danny was to go in and have fun writing the theme song for the show, just like he did when he got the job for The Simpsons. He said Tales from the Crypt was one of those things when you just dive right in and just have fun with it.
Okay.
And the studio, which is Warner Brothers, by the way, or HBO, were looking to a cheap way to recording it.
Okay.
According to Danny. So they would tack it on at the end of the sessions of Batman, which is quite hard. So you can imagine in the studio trying to record theme music for the Batman and like Batman Returns and stuff like that. And I think it was basically from Batman, the first one, because it came out in 89 Batman?
Yes. I
And Tales from the Crypt came out that same year.
Yeah.
So it was during that time, and it was like, oh, by the way, before the end of the session, let's do Tales from the Crypt.
That's a tough transition.
Yeah, it is a tough transition. And it was recorded like for 10 minutes. So that's how he came up with Dun, 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 dun. If you actually listen to it, it does have a fun feel to it, you know?
And
Kinda
something
got
just
the-
like Batman. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what
like
I'm saying?
Batman. I was about to say, I was
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
Batman.
it was
Okay.
yeah. So if you actually listen to it, it does have a fun feel to it.
Yeah.
Just like if you hear the opening theme song for The Simpsons. The Simpsons. Dun, 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 dun,
So,
dun, dun,
so is
dun.
that sped up?
Yeah.
It could be sped up, right?
It could be sped up. So it was like a fun, you can actually do it. So when you hear that gate open,
Yeah.
so, you know, if you play that anywhere, I think today people would know because that's an iconic
They will.
opening theme song. So
I used to love the tracking shots
yeah.
leading to the basement.
Yep.
Yeah.
The tracking
That was
shots.
always super fun to watch.
Yeah, that leads and he comes out. The Crypt Keeper comes out, pop out of the casket with that maniacal laugh, like the Joker, and stuff. So, yeah, I like Tales from the Crypt, especially that theme song is good. So, we're gonna dive in more about Tales from the Crypt in these other episodes soon. We're gonna really get down to the nitty gritty, because Tales from the Crypt was great. I mean, not only was dark, it was funny, and it had some nice themes that you can go on. You know, that does relate to everyday life because you're gonna hear me say this again when we go in depth of this. That this happens in real life. People try to fuck each other over just to gain ahead in life. This is nothing new.
Yeah.
And people pay the price for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Tales from the Crypt by Danny Elfman.
Yes.
And forgive me again for screwing up the.
Did we mention excuse me, Robert Zemeckis? Did we mention him?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
he was one of the creators of the show.
I know you said you was missing one person, so that's why.
No, it's I think it's Waters or
David Gowes, Richard Donner, Joel Silver. Did
Yeah.
we say Joel Silver?
we said Joe Silver, we said Walter Hill, we said Bob Zemeckis or Robert Zemeckis, and we said
David Gowes.
I think that was the one we missed.
Okay.
So
Just wanted to make sure we included that
Yeah.
gentleman.
shout
And we
out.
want to make sure you speaking to the damn microphone.
Yes, sir.
But that's one. So I suggest check out Tales from the Crypt or read some of the comics. I have some of the comics too.
Yeah.
It's really great material. Really great material. And I'm so glad that Warner Brothers axed M. Night Shyamalan's Tales from the Crypt reboot because it wasn't going to be rated R. It was going to be on TNT.
Oh no, you
Yeah.
can't do that show on TNT.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? They are actually changing their content. They had the popular nail show, Claws,
Okay.
and that had some pretty racy stuff on there. So it might have worked if it would have came out within the last 3 to 4 years, maybe.
Yeah, but doing in 2012 and 2013.
No, it would have failed.
Yeah.
It would have failed.
So.
Let's dive into the Twilight Zone.
Well, actually, I had a little trivia, but I guess you guys kind of ruined that for me. So I said anyway. I was going to ask, who is Rod Sterling? Rod Sterling. Yeah, nobody knows.
He's the creator.
He is the creator of the Twilight Zone. And then I was going to go into so every time you hear that music, someone in the room knows what it is.
Yeah.
And where it's come, where it came from.
You are now entering another dimension.
Right. So just to give you a little background on the actual Twilight Zone, the show, it had 5 seasons of the original, not the reboots. It ran from October 2nd, 1959, all the way until June 19th, 1964. It had a total of 156 episodes. which is pretty good.
That is good.
Nice.
Residuals.
Yes. But basically, the Twilight Zone was an American science fiction horror anthology television show from CBS. Now, let's get into the theme music. It's basically a 4-note motif on an electric guitar. Believe it or not, this theme music is composed of 2 different pieces of music CBS built from their stock library to save money.
Oh.
Yeah. So they went the cheap way.
Yeah.
Now, the original composer, I may mess up his name. Please forgive me. I think it's Maurice Constant. And he's the original composer. But he was unaware for years, maybe even a decade or so, that they used his music. And he was only getting paid his original fee.
Oh.
Just think of how much money this man could have made because this music is so iconic. You know
I
what
wonder
I mean?
if he sued or he was
You know
to
what?
get more money.
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably should dive into that, just a little bit more. Now, believe it or not, the one we hear from the 1960s version is not the original. The original Twilight Zone music only lasted for the first season because CBS hated it. They hated it. So they after that first season, the second version, what we were just talking about from Mr. Constant, was used from that point on.
Okay.
The iconic theme also has been done by different groups. So they've like remixed it. The Grateful Dead took a stab at it. Korn took a stab at it.
Korn took a stab at it. Huh?
Yeah. And 2 other composers by the name of Brandon Roberts and Marco Beltrami, if I'm saying that right. So maybe this theme song has been done maybe about 7-8 times, but it always goes back to the 1960s. Even Jordan Peele tried to bring it back, and it still had that underlining music. Within that theme.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I didn't know that. Because I remember watching some of the episodes when I was a kid with my grandmother, and it was scary.
Yeah. Turn the TV down.
But every time I heard that, that was like, oh, the Twilight Zone is coming on.
right.
I was like, oh, man. Like, come on now.
And
It does have an eerie kind of feel to you when you listen to it, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, shoot, something about to happen. Or I'm about to go.
Be in something that I don't want to be in.
Yep.
You know?
Especially if you're home alone. You know.
And if we would have to give this theme music a particular year, I would say that would be 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because we did enter another dimension.
Definitely.
Another dimension 3 years ago in 2020, you know.
Yeah.
Shit.
Crazy. It's crazy, man.
But, yeah,
But that music is definitely iconic.
it is.
It always just makes you kind of look around at your surroundings, like, what's going on or what's about to happen.
I mean, people use that for their ringtones when somebody unwanted call is coming in.
Right.
That's why I think you have it on your phone, right, Iger?
No, I was just listening to the music earlier.
Okay, because when that's why I thought it was like somebody you don't like calling you. You was like, oh, I ain't calling that person. Because normally I use those things. Like I use the Halloween theme music for people who like scammers or people I don't want to talk to. Like I ain't talking to that person. No.
You better hope you don't be around when that rain come on.
Right.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, but but we got to talk about another well-known horror theme song that I end up getting it mixed up with the composers,
Yeah.
which is Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah, I got an intro for you. Goes like this. Man lives in the sunlight, world of what we believe to be a reality. But there is unseen by most, an underworld. Man, George A. Romero's words.
Yeah.
That intro, man, the fade to black and white, you know, it was crazy, man. With the spooky narration by Paul Sparrow, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yep.
And the music was made by Erica Lindsay. You know, Richard P. Rubinson produced, and Jerry Gallard
Okay.
was a part of that. You know, it was Tales from the Dark Side, 4 seasons. The pilot episode was in 1983.
Okay.
And the kickoff of the season was in 1984. You know, so lasted from 1983 to 1988. Horror, fantasy, drama, comedy, thriller. That was all a part of these episodes. You know, it was great, man. You know,
But the theme song. What about the music? It was created by Donald Rubinstein, who's the composer. Shout out to Donald Rubinstein,
Dunno.
who also he co-wrote it with Erica Lindsay
Erica Lindsay.
and Erica Lindsay
Yes.
from Laurel Productions, who's also collaborated with George A. Romero on the Dead films.
Yeah.
You know,
Man, just a great show, man. Every time you used to hear that narration, you know, I used to turn that volume down and turn them lights on, you know.
I think every kid did.
Some very
what is it about that opening scene with that music that was so, you know, that made you so?
just that man, that was scary as hell, man. You know, and then hearing that tone, man, the guy talking, the narration, and then you seeing a visual. It's a colorful road, you know, sighting. All of a sudden, more as the music plays, it just fades to black and white. The dark side. That's all. Yeah, you know.
And you know what? We don't have that today, where before the show even starts, you're already scared.
Yeah.
So no matter what the episode was about, you already almost peed in your pants just by the music and just by the 15 to 20 seconds of the intro.
Yep.
That was so cool back then.
I mean, because we're going to talk about later on when we get into the children's horror shows. Are You Afraid of the Dark had that same kind of intro.
Yes, it did.
That, you know,
Yeah.
with that little boat, it is dark in that little boat coming up on the lake. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Da, 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 da. It was so slow. I was like, oh, I'm like, when I first look at that, but we're gonna talk about that. But I'm just saying, it has that feel just like Tales from the Dark Side. It's like, wait a minute, ain't this supposed to be a kids horror show?
And we can also connect this to our very first episode when we talked about how important music is in horror, just anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to have those scary elements with the music makes the show, makes the movie, whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. Big part.
It does, because like you can play just about any opening track from any movie or show, and people would know.
Yeah.
You know, people know when you say dun 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 dun. They know, like, people know, like, oh, that's the X-Men, or you know,
One of the most
yep,
iconic.
yep, or da 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 da. You got that, and you have
Fright Night.
Yeah, right. So you just know, like or or say hello to the night, lost in the shadows.
The Lost Boys.
Yes, that whole soundtrack.
Yeah. Doom, doom.
Yeah. Doom. Doom.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is now a radio show.
Right. But all these these shows are just so iconic.
Big part by the music.
Big part because of the music.
Yeah.
And once you have like a good music, it lasts forever. Like you can tell, like people will know when you hear those violins start. What then you be like, oh, that's The Walking Dead about to come on.
Yeah.
Like you hear that the gate. Shoo, dun, 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 it's Tales from the Crypt. I mean, people know. Like I'm sure this today's generations they probably already have like certain music. If you just play it to them, they can just point it out which show or probably which movie that came from. Like we all know, like dun 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 dun
I really love your. I love it.
But we know, we know who that is. That's the Avengers, you know. So, so yeah.
So these horror themes, man. You hear those? Yeah.
He's speechless, ladies and gentlemen.
Like these are iconic, and they are so prevalent. People use them for their ringtones. They use them for alarm systems, or they just download. Like I have like certain music that I have from movies that I put on my phone just to listen to, just the intro, soundtracks. We definitely got to do it, and see if we can do an episode on when we talked about Lost Boys and Fright Night. We got to go deep in depth with those soundtracks, because those soundtracks, when they came out, changed everything.
Speaking of Mr. Rubinstein, Donald, we got another show.
Yeah.
The Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
3 seasons.
I never heard of that show.
Yeah, man. The intro was a family of monsters looking for something to watch on TV. And they happened to find a favorite episode. They was getting prepared, to sit down as a family. The mom bringing a bowl, which the reveal is a bowl of worms, Oh, our favorite show, The Monsters. Monster show, come on. What was interesting, though, every episode had a monster, different monsters, And out of all these shows that we talked about, this show right here was just based on horror. Everything else had fantasy, thriller, comedy, and everything, but Monsters was based just on horror. So you will get a little comedy, just a little comedy, and a scare for each episode. It was cool, man.
That's cool. I have to watch that. I haven't seen The Monsters yet.
Yeah, it ran from 1988 to 1999.
You see, that's around the same time with Tales from the Darkside. I probably ran and Tales from the Crypt.
Did I say 99 or 91?
I don't know. We got
we need to rewind the tape.
Right.
1988 to 1991. I swear I said 1991. I just
I probably never heard, because it was so probably drowned out by Tales from the Crypt. It was so popular. It's probably why it was 3 seasons, because I never heard of it. I knew about Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side, because then did Tales from the Dark Side come out? Or it was around that time too, right?
Tales from the Dark Side was in 1984
To 88, right?
to 1988.
See, it was like the tail end, but that show was still popular until Tales from the Crypt came out, until 89.
The same creator, you know.
Yeah.
Richard P. Rubinstein and Mitchell Gallen
Okay.
of this anthology.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man.
I'm gonna have to watch it because I want to see it.
I think Chicago, in Chicago's time, WGN. I think it aired on WGN.
Okay.
If it was called WGN at the time, but Channel 9.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to go back in the conversation, Rod Serling was the creator of the Twilight Zone. If I didn't say that,
Okay.
Put that out there.
All right. Well, that concludes our episode. Check out Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side, Monsters, and Twilight Zone. And you know where to find us. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Radio, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Check us out on Instagram, trio_3_horror.
Please like.
And please like and subscribe to this channel and comment. We would love to hear your thoughts. And check us out on our TikTok at trio_of_horror. That concludes our episode. And tune in next time.